Hey, welcome back to Visions Now Supper Club. All views expressed for their educational and journalistic purposes. They're not the views of the management, advertisers, and staff of 92.1 FM. However, Visions does desire to bring a quality entertainment program which intellectually stimulates and culturally fulfills our community's needs to develop leadership and inform decision-making for our collective future. Welcome to the village. Often imitated, but never duplicated. I'm Dr. Jaylene Hood, your host and executive producer. Welcome.
Anyone who seeks to begin to understand herbal treatments and indigenous medicines, your first bus stop you need to master is language. And from language, you take your language to botany. And from botany, then go to anatomy. Then find the relationship between the human body, the trees, and the language itself. You may just have graduated in terms of understanding, even by the time you begin to look at pictography and photography in terms of what is the look of the kidney, or the look of the kidney bean, or the look of the heart, which plant look like the heart, the kidney of the genitalia, which plants look like human genitalia, the things of the womb. So actually nature is a photocopying chart, a healing chart. But even if you don't know how to heal yourself, should you get to the forest and you look at the leaves and look at the barks of the trees and you look at the roots of the trees and you look at the human problem, if you have enough time, you'll be able to identify this is for the eyes, this is for the teeth, this is for the body, and all that is incubated, and hence the preservation of our language must be held supreme. Because once we lose our language, we lose a critical link between us and nature and our anatomy. And anyone who seeks to begin to understand herbal treatments and
is a necessity. We need to know how to love, how to nourish, how to care, how to enhance, how to respect, how to honor, how to cherish, how to treasure. And when you have that in a relationship, I'm talking relationships, period. Because you don't bring children into the world and maintain and create children by yourself. The issue for us is really, one, consciously caring to cultivate love and not just being quick to have sex. For abortion to be one of the greatest number of deaths that our people are experiencing, there's an issue for me with that. Why are we in a place where we're sharing the most sacred parts of ourselves with someone that we do not have any commitment to? Love is a necessity. We need to know how to love, how to nourish, how to care, how to
harass our men too much. We nag our men too much, and we keep his mind and his head so bundled up and bogged down with all of our personal idiosyncrasies about our day-to-day personal relationship with him that a lot of times we don't free his mind up to go out and to plan sanely for our future and for the future of our children. Many of them come to us every day and they almost have to do a wind test. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who they're going to meet because we have a lot of reactions. We tend to think as Black women that a successful relationship and one where we're happy is one where everything goes our way. We harass our men too much. We nag our men too much, and we keep his mind and his head so bundled up and bogged down with all of our personal idiosyncrasies about our day-to-day personal relationship with him that a lot of times we don't free his mind up to go out and to plan sanely for our future and for the future of our children.
And far away. We asked them to go back to their homes. Unfortunately, I say to you here today, as I like to say, the colonization has returned. There are still Salon slaves who haven't understood.
Veins flows the blood of those valiant warriors who helped the whole world get rid of Nazism and many other plagues. In our veins flows the blood of those valiant warriors who were forcefully taken from Africa to Europe, America, Asia, or elsewhere to build these states during slavery. In our veins flows the blood of worthy men, robust men, standing men. Because of this, let's be proud and grateful for being descendants of the Alliance of the Sahel States.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I hope you're all doing fine. Now, I'm sharing this video of Ibrahim Traore, the Burkina Faso president, who is calling out on all Black people to unite, is calling out on African diaspora to come back home and invest, is calling out on all the Black people to have unity and stop living in fear. Now, he's telling the Western countries to leave Africa because this continent has suffered in the
Hello, Chatters Valley. And of course, I guess we're all here. And of course, share. This that time of the day when you and I come together to make love, good old-fashioned community love. I'm Dr. Jaylene Hood, the host and the executive producer for Visions Now, your supper club. And we're here to do a little weekend review. And we're going to bring on our special guest and hopefully our frequent guest. And we'll let him introduce himself. Why don't you introduce yourself to those who don't know you, brother?
Well, brother, it's good to see you, brother. I'm glad to be on tonight. Dr. Akhenaten. I'm here to listen and to share on the topics that are going to be presented tonight. I'm sure we're going to have a great show tonight. But I was looking at the introduction right there with Brother Ephraim Traore and talking about the getting together of the people on the African continent and in the diaspora. I think that's very important. I think that needs to be emphasized in the community so we can come together as a people. I think that's important. I like to hear what other people think about that, really, but I've been listening to Brother Traore and Dr. Polo Lumumba. He has been discussing the same thing during when he was online, and I was listening to him online about the same thing about coming together in the diaspora and in Africa. And I think our people need to look up these two people and listen to what they're saying. And it has a lot to do with what's happening in the United States, in France, in Europe, in China, and in Russia.
Well, one of the things about it is that we hope that this podcast that we do here weekly, that we would start adding a regular feature to kind of doing an update, and you might see some things, or I might see some things, but feel free to bring them, and so that we can let our people know what's going on in different parts of the world with our people. And
Yes.
so that's very, 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 very important part of the work that we have to do, is that we have to understand that we are global. I mean, because we get our clothing, some from and other items from throughout the globe. So we have to know what's going on, and particularly, there's a feeling, and it's rightfully so, that we here in America cannot really have true respect unless our motherland has true respect. So therefore,
Yes.
As you mentioned too about brother there in Burkina Faso, that there's a movement there in the Sahel that, and again, I'm glad that they recognize the fact that we're all in this together, and that we'll and at the end of the day, when we win, everybody wins.
Yes.
But when we lose, everybody loses.
Right.
I mean, the world cannot win when we don't win, because at the end of the day, we are the parents of all
Yes.
people on this earth, and so therefore, when you lose connection in the spirit of your parentage, then you're lost. And I think
Yes.
that's part of the problem now, that we're getting lost in this AI. I mean, like anybody, I get it. I mean, I get the notion about AI, and that we have to be able to use the computers and all that. I get that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But my thing is that, if you don't know what's in a book, then you're not going to know, because see, what happens is that the AI will pick out what it thinks is important, or what has been programmed into it to be important, but that might not necessarily be important for us. So therefore,
Yes.
we have to be able to engage AI in a meaningful way. I know I have many debates with AI, and many times, and most of them I win. I mean, sometimes the AI get a little belligerent, like people do, but
Right.
and then because they have a problem with being corrected. But my point is that's why I would like for us to be here on a weekly basis to kind of put things in perspective.
Mhm.
And, and again, for like with yourself,
Mhm.
be able to look at the past week and what things have caught your eye, and of course also there's some things that have caught my eye, and I try to share them through our broadcast as well. So first of all, what's been, I guess, within the last week or so, what's been the top stories in the news? We'll start out locally. What anything captured your attention in the local news route?
Yeah. Well, locally, not right off, other than the concern about some of the monies that are being dispersed throughout the community, and trying to keep up and where those monies are going. And that's one of the things that I've been thinking about in the community, and considering how that money is being dispersed to help in the Black communities, and some of the people that have received those monies, I can't see where any of that is having any direct impact on the community. And that's one of the things I've been I followed earlier this week, that came up in the news this week again. Where are those monies, and who's receiving that money, and what are you receiving from? What is the product, and what is it producing? What is it changing in the communities?
Right. Yeah, I'm always kind of interested, and also in that kind of caught my eye was the fact that there's a new hotel being built in Columbus.
Mhm.
And and again, I guess I just wondering at what point will there ever be a point when we here in Columbus where we would be a part of some investment group that we're going to build something that to glorify who we are and to be able to offer into the economic pool of our community in general. And it seems like we're consumers, but we're not producers. We're not creating any new ventures. I mean, I know that in the entertainment arena, we're kind of doing some music things, and of course we do have a couple of local venues, But I'm saying that in terms of areas of food, shelter, and clothing, communication, transportation, recreation. In other words, those things that we spend our dollars on. I mean, where we spend our dollars, that we can turn them over into our community. Matter of fact, and that's one of the things that I guess that struck me was that it's going to be in the what they call the old town area up in Columbus. There's a new town in town. In other words, they're building that up as a community up there, and they're going to be a special kind of hotel. They already have where people can kind of walk in their own communities, and again, I just wish that on the east or south side, I mean, that we might. I mean, that's my vision in a way that we have that we would do something significant like that, or even a school. I mean, I understand I did hear about there's a new, I think it's a charter school that's in the process of being born here in Columbus, Georgia, and I haven't gotten many details on it yet, but I guess in the future we'll be hopefully getting more information. There's another organization that's coming to town, and we hope that the organization understands, really at the end of the day, it's not going to be of value if we don't come together and work as a collective. But I understand that the Southern Poverty Law Center has a new, was developing a presence in Columbus. And I'm still trying to get my mind up on, kind of wrapped around what exactly, I know what they do in general, but what types of issues are they going to take on here in Columbus? And hopefully the young lady that's kind of leading that project here in Columbus, of the Southern Poverty Law Center, hopefully I'll be able to get her on the line sometime and let her share with us as well. So those are some of the things locally, and of course I do continue to hear a little bit about the finance department and that fiasco there. I don't, I kind of mixed emotions about that. I mean, that it seems like, and of course, there's more of us, our young people being arrested for criminal behavior and things of that sort. And we hope that hopefully the New Era Coalition, that anyone out there want to mentor, to be a part, or they have a project that they want to bring forth for the community, that we all can share in. Are we so weak in our egos that we're afraid to work as a part of a collective? Because at the end of the day, that's who gets things done. If you're not a part of a collective, then you're not serving anyone's interest but yourself. And so we got to start learning how to do some ujama, I think, here in the Columbus area.
Yeah, and that's something, my position on self-knowledge, and I think that would bring us together as a people. We're separated, but as a people, similar to what's happening in some of the countries in Africa inside the United States, and especially in our community as well, and coming together as one people. But for that to be done, when it has to be an understanding of internalized racism and epigenetics, whether or not over the 400 years of slavery and Jim Crow that we can't get together because it's still in our minds that we are the enemy of each other.
Right.
And that's not, and to come together as a people. And on for different reasons. I heard a person say that, I'm religious as another thing. And a lot of times we don't get together because of that. But I heard a guy, I think it was Polo Lumumba, said God was not a Christian.
Right.
So we have to come together on different religions have to come together too for our people and for our youth.
Right.
We're losing them, but because we're separated, we're splintered.
Well, it's like I think you hit a very good point there, because it's about respect, and if we get if we can think in our with our from a divine consciousness standpoint.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that is in the conference that we had a few weeks ago, the AFSCAP conference, of course, we're in the process of putting together a study group, and I shared with some of the people who were involved last night, about that you and myself, one of the things I had put forth was that we want to develop, as a part of our study group initiative, we want to do what we call an elders or OG circle.
Yeah.
Because I think that we need to pull that structure back together, because to me, one of the biggest problems goes back again. I think that one of the videos, I don't know if we're gonna have tonight, but George Frazier talked about how the fact that our families are so disrupted that our economic life can't really become embellished because of that. And the whole notion, of course, is that it's about respect. Is that that children are not respecting their parents, the parents are not respecting their parents, and so as a result of that, we just have a discombobulated, broken down family structure. And my thing is that don't mean that people are not going to get divorced, people are not going to have their issue, but the respect. I think that we need to start making sure that every child learns how to say yes sir and no sir, yes ma'am and no ma'am. And I think it's a parental neglect if they allow their children to walk around and say yes and no, yeah to them. No, that's a no, because I just think that we need to get back in order. And also, I think that when it comes to child rearing, because in African traditional society, the elders are the ones that determine, because they're the ones that going to make sure that the values are continued. So therefore, today, many times parents, these my kids, I want to do what I want. No, those kids, the kid, you don't belong to yourself, and the children don't belong to themselves. They belong to the ancestors, and so therefore, we're passing on to you as my child what you should do. Now, then when you disrespect that, now we understand this is that all old people are not elders.
Right.
Okay, I get that. But we're talking about when there are parents who are trying to uphold what they were taught by their grandparents. You follow me? I wouldn't say that, but by their grandparents. And I think that most time if we go to our grandparents, there's some grandparents that were jacked up, but by and large, when we go to our grandparents, I know, like in my case,
in mine too.
That things are pretty straight. So therefore, with my children, they should listen to me when I say this is not right or that's not right, and I want to hear about that's old fashioned. Yeah, ancestors are old fashioned. God is old fashioned. Right. Life is old fashioned. So therefore, you want to have life, you want a God, you want to have. Then you need to be old fashioned, and so therefore we need to elevate that value and raise our children to honor and respect old fashioned.
And you wonder when did that start? Where we lost that type of child rearing and that type of teaching inside the home, and where did that start happening?
Well, I kind of in my mind, since we're having, and I'm glad you asked that question that way, because and that is, I kind of think it went away with us around the same time that I think that the crack epidemic came in and just tore down all our moral character and values. And I think that we lost respect during that time for those manners. Because again, let's look at it. Okay, I'm a child basically, I'm a child of the 50s. And I guess, and for example, your childhood, I guess, was in the 60s, right?
Right. Well, I'm a child of the 60s, right? Because you're born in 52. And so, yeah.
Right. So therefore, basically, okay, just like I was born in 48, but like I say, so therefore, that's why I said my childhood was like, in the 50s. And then like you was in 52, then your childhood was like in the 60s.
In the 60s.
Right. So
a lot of stuff started happening in the 60s. Well, we came to a realization in the 60s and early 70s, the late 60s. But that type of behavior where the what you call it, the latchkey kids, I think like that was going on, single parent homes.
When did desegregation start? Let's do it that way.
Desegregation, had to be in the late 60s, 64,
well,
66,
I think
68.
In Columbia, in this area, I mean, I think it was in the early 70s, like 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. I think. I don't know. What do you think?
I know we desegregated the schools in 68, 69, somewhere in there with the teachers first. With the teachers first.
Oh, okay. Because I know that from my memory was that they in Muscogee County, I think that it was 72 was the official. I think might have been some little thing here, but I think it was like 72.
Right.
When I think it was up until then, I think Carver was considered as historically black high school,
HBH. Yeah, it's so Spencer High School.
And so Spencer, right? So
in South Girard.
In South Girard. So basically, what year did you come out?
I came out in 70.
Okay, so in 70, did you have did you have Caucasian teachers then?
We had Caucasian teachers. There were white teachers, but the student body was not desegregated.
Okay, because I came out in 66, and I know it wasn't then, and it wasn't in 68, and I think it must have been like 70s, like I said, 70s before. And I think that the values kind of changed then, because a lot of things started happening when the teachers changed, because they really didn't know the culture. It was just a job to them, but we lost a cultural transition in that time, because we had a different cultural leadership in our schools then, I guess you say.
I agree with that. Yes, a different culture, different leadership. Something that we thought would never happen, but something happened inside the home when that started happening. We started accepting a lot of things that were not accepted when we were segregated inside the home, and this different theories of how you should raise a child came out.
Right.
No punishment, no corporal punishment type of things like that.
Right. And even the teachers, I think, somebody told, I mean, you close to it, I mean, but now when we came along in my time, teachers, they basically, most of the teachers, they kind of, they were, in Carver, it was shirt and tie. I mean, for the males, and it was kind of like, kind of Sunday dress like they dressed up, and the ladies dressed up, and the gentlemen dressed up,
Right.
So therefore, we had that type of dynamic. But when they desegregated the faculties, I think that the dress code changed too, didn't it?
Right, dress code changed. I think the idea that we had, you didn't want white teachers punishing your kids, and black parents didn't want white parents didn't want black teachers discipline their kids, and so that kind of went into the home after after it lasts for a while, as far as graduation, becoming an adult. I think some of the discipline was lost in there because of the parenting that was done in the home, and it started in the school about not disciplining the child in the school. Because now when I was going to school, if you cut up in school, then you know the principal had the authority to correct that behavior.
Right.
But once we desegregated, I think the principals did not have that authority, and it was passed down to the students. Students got out of school, and when they got home, when they became adults and had children, they didn't see that type of punishment as being effective anymore, because kind of lost control of the child, and that child turned to have kids. And you know, one of the things I say all the time: to have a better parent, you got to have a better child. To have a better child, you have to have a better parent.
Right.
And that's some of the things that's happening now, I think.
Exactly. And also, like, to help a better child, you got to have a better parent. To help a better parent, I say you got to have a better community.
Right.
That's kind of what I you know, because the community would kind of held the standards for adults and children, and then so the parent in their home, they, you know, many times if they had a little struggle, with the rest of the community would come in and help them out, you know, and then of course, likewise, when the parent was not available, then of course the neighborhood would step up and make sure that the children ate, or make sure that they were being mannerable. They if they broke some of the codes of the neighborhood, the community, well, your parents were going to know about it, and your parents were not going to second guess because people trusted each other. They thank people for looking out and letting them know that their child was misbehaving and that type of thing. You know,
and one of the parents, I'm glad you told me.
Right, and it won't happen no more.
It won't happen no more.
You're the word, right? And I won't. And she did what, or he did what?
Yeah,
that kind of thing. You know,
he disrespected you. I heard him cussing. You know, that type of thing.
I saw him smoking a cigarette.
What? Right. I saw him when he threw the rock. I'm glad you told me.
Right. Oh yeah. By the way, I think he hanging out with the wrong crowd too.
Right.
Hanging out with them boys around the corner around there, where they gambling and going on around there. And I think you got to watch out. You know, about that too. You know.
Right. You know, when it's coming up, it's certain real positive thing we couldn't do, but don't go in the pool room. If you catch you in the pool room, it's gonna be a problem. You know.
Oh, no doubt about it. What about the pool? They weren't gonna let in my neighborhood. We call it the cafe. They weren't going to, now, if you go in there to buy a candy bar, you go in there to buy a hot dog, or whatever, you weren't going to be sitting around in there in the cafe. Right. You know, you going to get yours and go. You know, you get it to go.
and that's where you're talking about the community being on board. And they saw, you know, it's being raised in these houses, and the people in these houses knew each other. We knew who I was, being 10 of us in these houses. So we were there for a minute. Right. We see you walking around that street, and that one of the Bradley children, one or two children, what are you doing inside that pool room? I saw him in the pool room, you know.
Right.
Something like that, they would turn you in, you know, just drop a dime on you.
Exactly. No doubt about it. So you did not want that to happen. You didn't want to get the word in the neighborhood that you were disrespectful, because that means that you're gonna have a hard time with the grown folks. You basically you get ready to move out the neighborhood, because you were not gonna be able to stay in the neighborhood because the older people were gonna get on your tail, and then if you disrespected them, then their children wasn't gonna have it. I mean, in other words, you know, now you're gonna disrespect my dad and my grandmama. And
that's right.
So that wasn't gonna happen. So you getting ready to leave the neighborhood, buddy.
Right. So I remember one specific situation of standing on the corner. You know, we're singing the Temptation song like we used to, stand on and listen to doo-wop and everything.
That's right.
Doo-wop. Yeah. So the man, some people came by. You know who I'm talking about. I said, get off the corner.
Yeah.
Get off the corner. So we kind of rebelled against that, you know, because at that time we listened to James Brown, Black and the Proud, and everything. We rebelled against that. So the man told us, he called me bad, not get off the corner, you know. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going anywhere, you know. So He went right around there and told my dad that I was standing on that corner. And then but 2 or 3 minutes later, he
that
was right
part.
around that corner. Yeah.
You surprise somebody say, "Hey, Brad, your daddy can looking for you."
Yes, right. I wanted to take off running, but I couldn't run. No, I ain't go home.
No, where you gonna run?
No.
Then you gonna go around the other way. He coming
Yeah.
this way and be at home
Right.
when he get back.
Right. He come, go to the house, get in the car, and let's go home.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know, I see. My last word to the boy was, "I'll see you later."
Right. You're right. I see you later.
Some of the things you talk about now, that boy, some of the kids now will tell their parents, "Oh, no, I'm not going anywhere."
And that's one thing. Why is there no accountability?
Yeah, no accountability. Yeah,
see,
and the
and
parents accept it.
Exactly. And because these days, in those days, see, that's what I'm trying to say. In these days, it seems like the parents well, I guess it goes back into when the males, when the men of that time, of that day, they were in charge. They were in charge of the community, and so therefore, they were not going to let you be disrespectful, and certainly you weren't going to be disrespectful to the ladies, because
Right.
the men were not having it, and certainly. And because and the mother would go make sure that you understood that you need to respect your daddy, even in his absence. So you had that going. But these days, I think when the mama stopped making the children respect their daddies, I think that kind of created a problem there.
Right.
When mama started jumping into discussion when daddy trying to discipline the children, then mama started jumping in on it. I think that you know, in the discussion, rather than talking to him later on, instead they started disrespecting him in front of the children.
Right.
Then I think that became a problem too.
Yes. Hurry on. Well, let me step out. I need to step out for a minute. I come right back.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's those kind of things. I think when we play our next reel, and let's see what we're talking about on that. Hello, visionaries. This is Dr. Jaylene Wood, the host and executive producer for Visions Now, and also your Mystic brother. That's right, with the Mystic Moment, 92.1 FM, smooth R&B, every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And we're the one that said, help us help you. And what we're trying to do is that we're trying to get money into our community. We spend too much money with other people that don't do nothing for our community. All of this water here, that we are here for fundraisers for you, okay, to help us provide resources for our programs for our young people. We were just in Elizabeth County yesterday. We're going to be going to Warren Williams. Going to be going to Fowley Homes. We're coming to a neighborhood near you. But the bottom line is that if you have an athletic team, they need to be drinking real water. This is water not from Walmart. This is from the Black Wall Street Network. We have to bring our dollars back home. We're making everybody rich, okay, and also making us emotionally poor because we don't support each other. So if you have a business out there, a restaurant, or you know somebody, or you just want to get some water for your own personal use, this is the best water in the business. None better. God made this water. It's artesian spring water. Artesian. Don't go by just I'm not gonna call no name. That blue bottle and all these other jackleg bottles. No. This is the real water. Hello, Vision. So for our next order of water, and remember now, this water is water that is produced from within our community, and I don't mean here in Columbus, Georgia, but within the American African community. As a matter of fact, is bottled and distributed, and we're trying to say that we have to keep our. This is a time for institution building. We got to create institutions and businesses, and that's all we're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Is to turn those dollars over, in our community, so that we can do other things with it. Because it's like this, if I have a dollar. And I spend it with that dollar with a person, that person spend it with another person. That's two people. Then that person spend with another person. That's three people. That person spend with another person. That's four. Then another person. That's five. In other words, that $1 is turned into $5. But if I take that dollar that I got from work, then I just go right back out and take it to the general economic system. Then basically that dollar has not really been of any value to me at all, really, because it has not turned over and added no value to my community.
Dr. I think that's part of that internalized racism where we don't patronize each other in business.
Right.
We won't
sell for drugs.
Yeah, Pee Wee and Little Darryl smoke them.
Right.
But if you don't go to black businesses and that's owned by black people, and it's that's another thing about our communities at that time. All the cafes and all the stores we could attend were inside the community, pretty much. That's right. And they stay open, But now we're able to go out. I remember when we were able to go to the Liberty clothes, the Dixie clothes. We were going to the Rialto and the Bradley because we thought those theaters were better,
Right.
But that's the thing about internalized racism. Well, it's still happening today. We don't think if we have our hands on it, it's not as good.
Exactly.
Whatever the product is.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, you speaking of that, there's a meeting that I'm just reading about. I want to share with our listening audience. It's a meeting that is going to take place at the Liberty Theater. Do you remember that you get a chance to read that yet?
Okay. For the 100th celebration?
No. This is a community meeting. Let me see here. Let me put it up real quick. Dr. Brad, Dr. Agnaton just mentioned that, and I want to. I thought I said it, but I guess it didn't show up. I guess it didn't come over. I guess yet, but I'm going to have to. But the Liberty Theater, there's a. But when we play a little reel here while I'm finding this, because I wanted to mention this meeting, but Dr. Brad, because this is very important, meaning to find out where we stand. Will we ever get the Liberty Theater back to our community now?
Yeah. Okay.
The only people that came to America that became Americans, because we had to completely recreate ourselves. And it's a fascinating history. We did that mostly with song. And it's one of the reasons that we still dominate. No matter what else it is, the Black American sound dominates. Everybody wants to sound like us. They don't want to look like us most of the time, but they want to sound like us.
Well, I think secretly, as people tan, they do want to look like us.
Well, you may have a point there.
Right?
Yeah.
They definitely want to dress like us.
Oh, definitely.
And they speak like us.
Yeah.
You've been able to impact a lot of the younger generation, especially in this hip hop culture.
Oh, yeah.
Your name right now is revered, and some of the greatest artists on this planet today, like a Kanye West, even mentioned you in songs.
We are the only people that came to America that became Americans, because we had to completely recreate ourselves.
Have a couple degrees, legit, not mail order. Larry have a couple degrees.
Right.
And we have educated more brothers and sisters than I believe the Chicago Board of Education ever did.
Wow.
And then we have graduated more. We even got brothers and sisters on the Brooklyn Development have masters. Benny Lee is sitting in here with me, and Benny Lee, and look his growth. They done took gangbang off his name and chief and put professor.
Beautiful thing.
And I have so much love and respect and honor for Benny, because like I say, it ain't where he is, where he comes from. That's his growth.
Exactly.
he peeped at our literature a time or two, you know, but it was made public, not just for my organization,
Right.
for the betterment of mankind and our community and our youth. I have a couple degrees, legit, not mail order.
I did find, I want to talk a little bit about that in a minute too, but it says city officials invites the public to a community meeting to discuss the Liberty District Master Plan. The purpose of this meeting is to discuss the possibilities of adopting the plan. The dates Monday, February 24th, and Wednesday, February 26th. And that's going to be at the CCG Annex Building, ground floor conference room, 420 10th Street. And said during the meeting, city staff will present the proposed plan and explain the key features of the project. This opportunity for residents to view the design plans, ask questions, and share feedback. I'm a little concerned about this because, you know, that was already a master plan for the Liberty District. But they're changing it now. And I wish they'd be honest about that too. And I want to know what's wrong with the original plan, because the original plan really had it being something like the French Quarter is. I mean, like it was a dedicated area that would be reflective of the cultural heritage of that area.
Right.
That was the Black Wall Street area of Columbus, Georgia.
Right.
Was really that 6th and 8th area with the Liberty District. But unfortunately, unfortunately, anyway, it's worth for discussion. I'm just saying that it might not do no good, but anyway, I still want to bring the people attention. And again, that's going to be 5 to 6:30 on Monday, February the 24th. That's going to be at the CCG Annex Building on 10th Street. That's right there.
Well, the Liberty was our only was a major theater for us as a people.
That was it.
We should have a voice in what's going to happen inside that.
And it still is. I mean, it still was up until it was enslaved by the city. It was captured, put in prison, and now it's a slave of the city. We want free to liberty. That's I want to throw that slogan. Free to liberty theater.
Get some signs, some posters.
Free to liberty theater. Right.
For the people.
Right. Free to liberty.
Right, because really, that area, a historically Black community.
Yes. Yeah. That's that, and so that's been, I guess, been erased as well. I mean, they didn't destroy the Springer Opera House. You know, they didn't do that. They still got the Springer, and in many other places as well. That's been constructed since then. And so I'm saying that, with all the expertise and the hot shot big cats in our community, we ran it from the beginning. All these 40, 50, 60 years, 70 years, but all of a sudden now we can't manage the Liberty Theater. I don't have a problem with it being a partnership with the city maintain the facility and the structure, the infrastructure. But when it comes to the management of the Liberty Theater, that should belong to dedicated to the community, like it was designed to be in the beginning.
Absolutely, I think it should keep its that same flavor as it was then. Yeah,
exactly. We still need it right now. We need it even more than we needed it then. I mean, because that time we had a lot of other supportive aspects to it as well. But like now, it's almost a standalone. We hardly don't own anything down there. Right. Maybe a church, no businesses that I can think of. But at that time, that was the Black Wall Street area of Columbus, Georgia.
Right, because
That was-
everything else down there is torn down. You know?
Exactly. That was the Harlem of Columbus.
Yes, it was.
Of Columbus, you know what I'm saying?
Man.
Exactly.
I mean, I can still remember those, what was it, 5 bottle cap, 5 RC cap?
Yes, sir. That's sir. And I can remember those wet floors when it flooded in there too. The mud.
Oh man.
During the
Our history inside our community, that was major. That was a major theater.
Exactly. And of course, around the country, part of what they call the Chitlin Circuit,
Yes.
where are the black artists,
Right.
like Ma Rainey and
Right.
many others. They performed. They couldn't perform in the auditorium and the Trade Center.
Right.
Right. Now. But again, if we spend our money bringing more business to the Liberty, then we could keep it up as well with all our churches and all our big shots here in Columbus. But you know what? There's a quote that I thought about in my dream, either in and out of my dream one. Yeah. And I thought about it. I said, in Columbus, Georgia, and I want to tell you what you think about this. In Columbus, Georgia, we have a lot of people who like to brag about living large. Mm. But my thing is that they trying to live large, but we think so small.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? We got small. We don't think big in terms of owning no grocery store, no service station, or owning or managing the Liberty Theater, we don't think about that, but we think about living large, but we think small. Tell me what you think about that.
No, brother, look, brother, I'm gonna have to go back. I'm telling you that epigenetics and internalized racism is still strong. It's still strong. We just can't get together as a people. We can't. I'm not saying we can't, but we're not trying. We're not putting forth that effort to get that.
We don't have the moral fabric. That's what I put on. It's a moral fabric. You had people like Primus King make sacrifices, and Dr. Thomas Brewer gave his life so that we might have more opportunities. But yet, it's still today. We want to ride around in our fancy cars and talk about talk about all the fancy places we go to, but again, all the fancy places we talk about going to. The one thing about there's a movie on Tubi called the Greenwood District, and they talk about the history of Black Wall Street. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
Not yet.
But it just shows how the guy, basically he started off, putting up a business, and then he started inviting all his other friends and other people to put out the word, come here and let's build us a town. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that, and so people came from everywhere to start building, and this business, this group. Somebody want a grocery store. So everybody started building up the Greenwood District, is what they call it, as a little town within a town. And we could do that today, really, but we don't have the moral fabric. We're too selfish, self-centered, too greedy, and too puny in our pride. We don't have no dignity, no self-respect. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Go right ahead.
I can't. It goes back to the idea of what we have about ourselves and our people, and when we interact with our people. I remember one of the persons said that my restaurant, the ice don't get as cold in my restaurant as it is in other restaurants. Right. That has to do, I think, with that internalized racism. I mean, it's a lie. It's a lie. Now we can't say it's because of segregation, not desegregation, but desegregation has happened. But we still treat each other the same way. We look at each other with disdain. We don't trust each other. We don't buy from each other. Similar to the same thing was happening in Africa.
Right. There's a little clip that I want you to see with Fuller. The little cartoon clip. Then he talks about he died recently.
I think another thing too is poor leadership by the Black community. and true leadership.
Well, again, all of that to me, the root of it is a fact of is a matter of a lack of moral character. I think it's a matter. Okay,
I think another thing.
I want you to listen to this right here, and then let's pick it up on it.
Listen. If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else you understand will only confuse you. Now, sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. I can't maintain a system with black people being serious, so I'm going to redirect their seriousness, and I'm going to do it through something that they relate to best. I'm going to do it through a medium that they can relate to, and that is entertainment. So I'm going to twist and turn their entertainment in such a way that where it was non-justice before, where they were trying to talk about justice and head in that direction, I'm going to redirect that whole machine right before their eyes. And since they are a primitive people, they won't even realize what I'm doing, because it will all be fun, because I know how to package stuff that doesn't make sense so that it is fun. And I'll have them directing their entire existence to getting up in the morning and looking for something stupid to do. And they won't even know that they're looking for something stupid to do, because they're just that stupid, because I will have programmed them to be stupid. And from the late 1960s, after the death of Martin Luther King and the riots and the upheavals and all like this, and black people with their fists in there and all like that, and trying to stumble and fumble and find their way and get focus, the white supremacists made a blueprint and put it into action. And that is, I'm going to have these people so confused, they don't even know what they started out to do. And by the late 1970s, they had just about completed it. And we've been on that ever since. And you mentioned something very important. They are more comfortable than ever. But see, it's like making gorillas comfortable in a cage, or monkeys, or pandas. You still got them in a cage, but they're comfortable. See, so give him some bling bling. It's like giving an animal a brand new car and training the animal to ride up and down the street in it. And then you stand back and point at the animal. Like one white man said in the late 1950s, he said he doesn't care what kind of car a Negro has. He said he's still a nigger. And when he rides by in a shiny car, to him, it's just a monkey in a car. White people built a car, put a monkey in it, trained the monkey to drive the car. So now you're looking at a monkey in a car. See, but black people don't see themselves that way. But this is how the white supremacists see us, and they are the ones who run our business. And we have to know that when they look at us, that's what they see. That's what they see. That's what they see. And at a subliminal level, what they see begins to spill over into our brains, so that we at a subliminal level see each other that way. And indirectly see ourselves that way. And that's why here it is in the year 2008, we have no problem slaughtering each other and think it's fun. You can hear the 9mm popping in the night, even as we speak. That's black people out there having fun, because that's what we're doing. F-U-N, that's what that comes under. That's entertainment. Killing each other. That's fun. That's almost the definition of black fun. If we're not doing that, we're not really having fun. If we're not doing harm to each other, saying something derogatory, and really, the crown and jewel, killing another black person, we're not really living. And we don't even know that that's our culture. And the white supremacists have very carefully engineered it. Now, this is very important to know in order to solve our problems. Because you say, well, now knowing that, Fuller, what's the solution? One is very simple. Black people shouldn't even be in contact with each other unless they're talking about something constructive. That means the cell phone should be dead silent most of the time. Because you listen to the average black conversation in this area of the world on a cell phone. And what do you hear? You don't hear anything that's necessary to be said. In everything that we do in all 9 areas of activity. And what are the 9 areas of activity? Economics, how you use your time and energy. How do black people, for the most part, use their time and energy when the white supremacists are not making us do something in order to eat and sleep somewhat comfortably? How do we usually use our time and energy when we have what we call a day off, all right, or hours off, or some minutes to ourselves, as you might say? Just look at what we do. Look at what most black people in the Northwestern Hemisphere do, and I think in many parts of the world, when they have what you call leisure time.
You are using apple cider vinegar the wrong way. If your goal is to lose belly fat.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, those 9 systems that are in place to maintain inferiority in the black people, and to change that education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war, those systems are in place to maintain that inferiority thinking in black people. But one of those things I said once before that we can have control of is religion. And we need to teach our people because the churches have the ear of the people. The majority, a lot of them in the churches that tell them about these different things, that teach them about self-knowledge, And I asked them one more thing. I asked before, I heard I've said this before. Revelation 1:14 through 15. And I've asked some preachers, what does that say? And in Revelation 1, it says hair, his head, his feet, and hands were like fine brass that had been burned in the fire, and his hair was like lamb wool. Now, there are people who would go and dispute that and say that can't be a black person. If we're going to use that, and because that religion was used as a weapon against us, and now that we need to straighten that out, and we can straighten out some of this inferior thinking in the churches, because we're not having control over education. What's the miseducation of black kids in the school coming out with that idea that either it's in entertainment or athletics, and that's all I can do.
Again, let me ask this. Okay. What do you? Okay, I got my thoughts about it. What do you think? What did you think needs to be done? Now, how do we go about addressing that? Like you say, if that's what we got to do in order for us to get back on the right track. But my point is that what was it about the religion that we had? 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Why were we able to build and do those things up through the 70s? What were we doing different with religion now than we did then?
Well, I think one of the things with desegregation, and we have overcome, and we're fooled and because of being able, that social desegregation, being able to go in the stores and then the theaters and the restaurants, that type of segregation. Now, even Dr. King said he didn't march for that. He didn't, these social integration was not what he was talking about. He's a complete opportunities for Black people, the same opportunity that all the people have in the country. I think that's one of the main things that he was talking about in doing his march, not for social integration. But what we have now, since we have desegregated in all these systems, and we have no way really to talk to our kids and bring them up so their kids won't be that way. And one of the things the person said, so we have to be concerned about our kids, our children, you know, because that's this generation, myself and you, we'll be here, maybe we'll see that change, but our children's children is what we should be concerned about. We should make that change so that they'll be able to get from under this same system that was in place that caused us to think the way we think now. Self-knowledge, I know, will change that. Dr. Clark, Nita Fuller, Francis Cress Welsing, Ivan Van Sertima. Some people don't even, Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. Who are these people? We know about these people, but our people don't know about these people. They don't know about them. They don't know. And at this time and right now, this month, with 365 Black History, we should be teaching that, you know, about our people. Knowledge removes ignorance. Knowledge removes ignorance. We need the knowledge of ourselves. That's surely not going to be taught through miseducation and through entertainment and labor and law. We don't have those systems, but we have one that we can control. We have control, and we can change. We can spread that to our people. Just that one Revelation 1:14 through 15 will make a lot of difference. But we have to teach them about what at their history, what we were taught, the truth.
Yeah, you know, it's you know, yeah, but like, what would be your first step? What do you think? What would be your first step? You know, in that effort. What do you think would be your first?
Our organizations, I think our first step would be knowledge of self. I mean, we don't have that. If knowledge removes that ignorance that we have about who we are as a people, you know, that knowledge of self, and from there we move to come together as a people, you know, and that'll bring us together. At that time, even in the 60s and 70s, brother, Dr. King brought us together on one thing. Brother Malcolm, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mr. Farrakhan, and some of the other brothers came together on that one thing. Come together as a people. As a people, we're still splintered as a people because we think all that's over. But a recent situation that has just happened is showing that that's even more has brought shed light on the fact that that is not true. What's happening inside the country, you know, it's just not true. I think self-knowledge is paramount.
Well, I guess I agree with, but I guess I'm thinking more about, okay, I mean that's the ammunition, but I'm wondering about the delivery. You know, like the bomb. How do we deliver? How do we deliver that though? I mean, how do we? That's what I'm.
Well, one of the things we have to have open up some of these recreation centers, some of the churches, so we can bring the people there together.
Okay.
And because now, you know, one of the things they'll take some funding to do that, to get the people there. Because I picked for the most part, don't see any importance of knowing or having that self-knowledge. But I said earlier, our children will benefit from that knowledge, you know, and
Right.
help us to come together as a people, not necessarily to make us feel that we are superior. Understand that the cradle of civilization started in Africa, and we are the original people on the planet, populate the entire planet. But so that knowledge will help them to see that you're not just an athlete, entertainer, some game bank, somebody on the street slanging. There's more to you than that. You are the original people, the first civilized people. You know, your ancestors were. That knowledge is not taught. That miseducation, that's not taught in the schools, in education.
Well, you know, I guess what it would take, for example, let's just take Antioch. Let's take Antioch. That's
Right.
your church. That's your church, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, Okay. Now, what would you do if you go talk to the pastor? Pastor, let's start a Saturday school.
Right.
And the Saturday school for our kids. We're gonna read and write, and we're gonna also teach them some history, blacks in the Bible. Okay.
Right.
How would that go over? How would you get that started?
Well, that's exactly how I would bring that to the pastor and explain that to him that way. I would tell him that. That would be some, because if you bring it to Antioch or to any church in Columbus, I don't want to get kicked out of Antioch. so you bring it to any church in Columbus with that information. Some of the people in there will rebel against that teaching because they don't see any importance in it. You know, not that knowledge, because we're trying to, get along and, move into the system, but there's still a quota and a ceiling for what we can do.
Okay, well, let's start like this. What if you say, well, look, I'd like to have a conversation with your deacon board or your, whoever, deaconess board or whatever, and let us discuss this because we want to get the children in the neighborhood have a safe place they can come to, get a meal, and get some learning.
Yeah.
But again, we're celebrating Black History Month. I mean, most churches, they celebrate Black History Month. So we're just trying to say our children need to know this history. And Black history is not just that part, but Black history is also about the history of Antioch, the history of East Highland. That's
Right.
Black history too. So,
Absolutely.
so let's have a conversation about that, and let's talk about Dr. King and the Civil Rights Movement, and like that.
Right. With New Era Columbus, and one of the things that we'll work with here in Columbus, New Era Columbus has a program to make that happen.
That's right.
It has a program to make that happen. But as you know, and I know, it takes funding to get our people together. And we have to have the city working with us as well to make it possible for us to have a venue that we can teach our people.
What I say, what we say, I know I'm having that discussion with some churches and as well, and the Ubuntu Micro Academy. I mean, like would be there would be a part of us, scout. We're gonna do some scouting. In other words, have a conversation. And let's start going to some of these churches. I know some already that I think that they're ready. As of this point, let us propose that kind of discussion. Just have a sit down and say, hey, let's try to do this. Start off maybe once a month, something like that.
Right.
To have because we already know we got to have Black history year round.
Right,
we can't just do Black History Month. So why don't we do that? We can start off with a movie about Dr. King's life or whatever, that kind of thing, and invite the people in, and probably have some popcorn or something,
right?
And for fundraiser, the hamburger, hot dog,
right?
And just have a good time on a Saturday afternoon or something like that.
Right. With self-knowledge, it has to be for our people because it has been closed to them. You tell a person who are the original people on the planet, and they just won't believe that. That's just not possible. No, that didn't happen. Not in Africa. That didn't happen. But that type of knowledge.
What
Remind me of one of the brother was talking about. He said fool and stupid, right? He said fool act stupid. I'm thinking about doing something, you know, and I don't know if I can do it or not. So stupid said, go ahead and do it. You know you can get away with it. And then fool told stupid said, that's why we the best of friends. Because see, two people that get together, blind can't lead it, blind got to have some lead. So he was talking to common sense on the telephone. So stupid ass fool. So who you talking to? He said, I'm talking to common sense. And so stupid told fool, hang the phone up, fool. You know, I'm your best friend, stupid. You know, so if we get together as a people, because some of our people are gonna rebel against just teaching that truth. But that's you know, everybody can't be, you know, it's not gonna go along with it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, again, like I said, I mean, you know, what we like I said, we have a campaign. We're gonna start, you know, going to different churches and offering them opportunity to do that, and you know, let's just see how it goes.
Yeah, let's get some funding for a self-mobile.
You know, because like Madai Muhammad used to say though, is that we beg for what we need and we pay for what we want.
Yeah,
and so
that's exactly right.
You know, so we start off, you know, and this kind of see how I go. Have some little chips and things like that they pay 50 cents for,
right?
And just but the main thing is be able to get people into the church, utilize the facility so that it don't just drive down the vine. I mean, we're trying to build up the you know, the congregation.
Yeah.
To do that kind of thing.
Let me step out again, brother. I got some people here. Like,
okay. So okay, I guess we got one more and we're gonna call it a night, I guess. But Junior, what's on your mind? You've been listening to the discussion now. What's your thoughts about what's going on up there at Columbus State University?
Again, same, pretty routine stuff. We're having an interest meeting. For the it's not playing. We're having an interest meeting. Having an interest meeting. Again, just preparing kind of bring some more students into the NAACP. So, again, looking forward to doing some things like you said. Hopefully, getting some students involved with the micro academies. Getting some laborers and things like that. So yeah, again, just preparation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, then what we got here?
And the myth of Christopher Columbus is the biggest myth of all because he never set foot in the United States. In 1502, he was sent from Haiti back to Spain, where he had to stand trial for the way in which he was treating those indigenous people. Stop it. They did not think this was India because India was called Hindustan until 1947. They knew this was the Indies, the home of the Indians. They made that story up. You didn't think this was India. Stop it.
Yeah, before 1947. So obviously Christopher Columbus, they kind of knew what was going on, right? Yeah, no doubt. Do we have another activity thing going on? And of course, but we want to say Happy Valentine's Day to all of our ladies out there, and hope that you feel loved and appreciated and that type of thing. And to the moms and sisters and girlfriends and wives and you know, and of course, and hopefully you all wish the same thing for us. You know. So what do we got there?
It's Men's Business Informational Workshop. Calling all men to participate in informative workshops centered around business. There was one today about the understanding basics of contracts. The next one will be February the 20th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on 504 Fair Street, Southwest Atlanta, 30313. This workshop is going to be understanding general accounting and capital options for your business.
Okay.
And also, what is capital again? That'll be Thursday, February the 20th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. 504 Fair Street, Southwest Atlanta, 30313.
Okay, and of course, if you know one in Atlanta, of course, we can get it further information. But basically, just saying, these are opportunities, and we might do something like this as well here. Now, maybe the NAACP out there in Columbus State might want to take on some of them topics and do some entrepreneurship and have those in the business, whatever it was, talk about, some topics like that, and look forward to. All right, Dr. Akhenaten, before you we bring out today, and the last thoughts you want to share with our audience tonight, and make sure that they share our conversation. Just sit back, at the end of the week kind of, and just before Valentine's, and just want to wish everybody well, and hope they enjoyed the conversation, and look forward to them joining in on the conversation as well.
Yeah. Well, self-knowledge, brother. Teach your children about themselves. And Dr. Clark said 3 things you should know: who you are, where you came from, and how did you get here. And those 3 very important things need to be told. And I enjoyed being on the show today, brother. And I hope we help somebody.
Well, no doubt about it. Of course, as always, you have an open invitation every time we meet. And my thing is that we're going to start classes for the parents, so that the parents can teach their children.
Absolutely.
So that way,
to have a better child, you got to have a better parent.
That's right.
You got to have a better parent. You got to have a better child.
And so the village is here for you, to give you the information so that you can share with your children. And start off by my thing. Let's start off with your own family. Start off teaching your children about your history and what their history that they don't know about. Start off with that's Black history too. So it's not always about what else. Yeah, that's right. That's self-start was
self-knowledge.
Who you are.
Self-knowledge will stop the violence.
That's right.
Self-knowledge will stop the violence.
Exactly. So appreciate you, and again, we hope that someone enjoyed the conversation, and we'd like to thank Miss Candy for popping in, and Miss Candy, you got to kind of bring some tea. Let us have a tea time with you sometime, and discuss, Ujamaa, because again, this is the time now. We got to be, economics got to be at the top of our agenda. There's no doubt about it. There's no way around that. Economics got to be at the top of our agenda, because we got to hire young people. It's just that simple. We have to hire our young people. We can't expect other people to hire our children. We have to provide opportunities for that. And that means that we're going to have to become the entrepreneurs ourselves, so that our children will learn how to be true entrepreneurs. Because we'll teach those parents who into the drug business and all of that, they teach their children the drug business, but we got to teach the children the legitimate way to make money, and not the illegitimate way to make money.
Right.
Okay. With that, last words, Julian, any thought you want to leave before we go?
Just peace.
All right then. So I thank you all for being with us again, Dr. Akhenaten.
Yes.
We hope to see you next week. The good Lord willing, the creek don't rise.
Yes.
So let's make it do what it do, and just again join us with the Supper Club.
Yes, sir.
Visions Now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
See you next week, brother.
Yes, sir. Organize. Promote the Shinda Sasa Missouri. Stay tuned for more Visions Now each week, Thursday, 7 to 8:30 p.m. right here on your New Era broadcast network.
Yes. Peace.
Promote Shinda Sasa Missouri. Peace, soul, love, with a little sprinkle of power. Good night.